Yeah, it's terrifying for the passengers, Stephanie. One of them is with us, Jaime Primak Sullivan. She was sitting in the first row of that plane, and she's with us exclusively. Jaime, good morning.
Good morning.
Before we talk about what happened, I should mention some people might recognize you. You're on Bravo. You're on the show Jersey Belle. So you were coming to New York. And tell me, when you landed, did you know right away something was wrong?
As we were right before the landing gear came out, I heard the pilot discuss whether we were going to be in a holding pattern or not. The flight attendants were discussing it, and then the pilot came on and said, we're actually not going to be in a holding pattern. They're going to bring us in. And I thought, well, that's a good sign. And then I saw the runway, and it was just white. And it's nerve-wracking, but you think it's going to be fine. And then the wheels hit the runway, and normally when a plane lands, the pilot releases the brakes, and there's that pull that the plane's slowing down, and there was none of that. I mean, you don't realize how fast a plane is coming in to land when there's no brakes.
So you're sliding across.
So you're literally just sliding for thousands of feet, and you know what's happening, but your mind can't really get there, and you're holding on. And then I would say probably halfway through the runway, I felt the nose of the plane jerk left, and it started to really shake and bump, and oxygen masks were falling and things were falling. And it's at that moment that this, your mind starts to go to, this is really not the way it's supposed to happen.
You're in the first row, so not only can you see what's happening, and you're very, very close to the water, you could hear as well.
I could hear, and I could hear the pilot saying, we have no power, we have no power. So I was the first, I could see the water. And, there's a moment where you don't know what you're going to hit. What's going to slow us down? Will it be another plane? Will it be the airport? I mean, you just have no idea. And then I saw the rocks, and then I saw the water. And it's at that moment that your mind goes, what happens if you go into the water? Do planes sink? Do they float? Will I ever see my kids again?
You really were terrified in that moment.
Terrified because you're not prepared. You think you are. I fly every month for work. I'm a frequent flyer. I feel very safe on planes, especially Delta. I fly them every month. But it's in that moment that you're so unprepared for what happens. I saw the water coming. I saw what the pilots were seeing. The pilots did everything they could, but it's no different than a car that's lost control on ice, but except that we're going hundreds of miles an hour.
And in the short few moments I have, I know the pilot came up to you.
He did.
Right after this happened, and what did he say?
He opened the door and walked out, and it was at that moment that I think I released once I saw him. Here he is, a man. I do a digital series called Coffee Talk that's rooted in the human connection, and I looked right at him, and he looked right at me, and I sort of came unglued in that moment, because here's this man who saw what I saw, and his only concern was for his passengers. He walked right up to me and put his arm around me, and he said, I'm going to get you off this plane. And he did. And the New York Police Department and the Port Authority Police Department, I mean, the human connection in its finest, as we all got out of this plane, and they lifted us off because the ramps never deflated, and they got us to safety, and everybody did an excellent job.
Seems like.
But it really was a life-changing experience.
Well, everyone really rose to the occasion. Jaime, thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.